Okay, so this week is going to be the start of my two-part um, research slash creative project. So we're going to talk about activist art, and we're going to specifically be looking at Guerrilla Girls. And I want to remind you of the first one I did of Barbara Kruger. So trying to keep her in mind, but also let's talk about the Guerrilla Girls because I love them so much. This I wanted to talk about what makes this form influential and like why it works. So the Guerrilla Girls were really prominent in the 1980s. That's when everything started rolling with the contemporary art movement and everything. So the Guerrilla Girls off of their website. The Guerrilla Girls are anonymous artists, activists who use disruptive headlines, outrageous visuals, and killer statistics to expose gender and ethnic bias and corruption in art, film, politics, and pop culture. We believe that we believe in an intersectional feminism that fights for human rights for all people. So this is just a photo of kind of who they are. So they're all women artists. Um, and they usually go by dead female artist names. That's going to be their little that's how they tell who's who. So Frida Kahlo, Artemisia, um, just different names like that. So yeah, so they just do like the little masks and everything. Um, so activist art. The aim of activist art is to create art that is form of political or social currency, actively addressing cultural power structures rather than representing them or simply describing them. Um, in photography, there it's more of like capturing and doing conceptual art as well as documentation. Um, the photo I chose for this one is The Advantages of Being a Woman Artist, which was a piece of 1988, and it just goes through different statements of why being a woman artist is so great. And I like to point out working without the pressure of success. The Guerrilla Girls really called out gender injustices as well as racial injustices within the art world. So it's just, listing things that were ironic to being a woman artist. Um, Guerrilla activism. So for um, the Guerrilla Girls specifically, they had a plethora of different ways they contributed their art as well as their photography as well. This is one of their photography mashups. Their collages. So they do posters, billboards, public appearances, interviews, flyers. They'll hang them up in different areas. So post about it on the internet. This one is the horror on the National Mall. Thousands of women locked in basement of DC museums, and it's just paying kind of not like a criticism on not only the National Mall about keeping the female artists out of sight, but also on pop culture and like People magazine. So there's that one. And why it worked, specifically for the Guerrilla Girls, they use humor, bold claims, gorilla masks to hide their identity. And it's just very visually appealing because this photo is the Whitechapel Street of 2016. So this just captures, and brings attention and interest into what's going on. It was everywhere. They would post it everywhere. They'd have billboards just around the city and stuff like that. So it was just everywhere. Um, so like it just brought a lot of people into what they were saying. They had interesting visuals again with the gorilla masks and specifically like women wearing them. I'll show you, I think it's in the next slide, about what kind of started the whole interest in the Guerrilla Girls, what kind of got the ball rolling within the activism that they were doing. I think that's the next slide. They took pop culture references, as you'll also see in the next slide, and they used statistics. So in this specific one, they found out that in Europe, women artists, especially women artists of color, are grossly represented in museums and galleries. So this one was the Guerilla Girls asked 383 European museums about diversity. Only a fourth responded. And then inside, because they sent out a letter, a survey asking them to explain themselves. Only a fourth of them responded, and then they listed all of their names and what museums on the ground. So when you're going through this exhibit, excuse me, the exhibit, you're just walking all over these people that are walking all over female artists and underrepresented artists. So it's kind of just like a representation of like what they were doing to those people. Yes, I thought this one was awesome. I really love it. This was the one that started it all. It's, do women have to be naked to get into the Met Museum? Less than 3% of artists in the modern arts sections are women, but 83% of the nudes are female. And this is just a photo, I believe, for the Odalisque of a very Renaissance classic painting, and they took it and then altered it and put a gorilla mask on it. And they just do bold statements, bold colors, crazy statistics that are true. And it just brought this to the attention of not only people in the art world, but civilians and those who enjoy art. So this is part one, excuse me, because this is the end of what I want to do. I think the next step is trying to apply what the Guerilla Girls and what Barbara Kruger have done by doing the bold statistics, posters, photography, just finding something to activist, either documentation or concept photography, to kind of put my own spin on activism, especially for feminism and other things. So that is that. I really love the Guerrilla Girls and I love talking about them. So yeah.